Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today, we're going to be talking about Hedera and Hbar. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So, first and foremost, yes, the market is dropping. We did see a nice little crash this morning. Yes, I think that we will be going lower. For the most part, a lot of altcoins are actually not doing too bad. Like, we actually see some altcoins in the green on the 24-hour span. On the 7-day span, for the most part, like, everything is still 40 plus percent down. I haven't really looked at Hbar today, but I know that it has been ranging around like the 6 to 6.5 cent zone. Still waiting for my nice lows to be targeted on Hedera, but for the most part, like, altcoins have not been dropping drastically, similar to like even Bitcoin. Hbar sitting at about 6.5 cents. We did have a nice little run to like about almost 7 cents, obviously hitting some resistance there before we did come down. So that definitely helped us in terms of like max pain on Hbar. But I still foresee some nice lows being printed in. I think that in terms of this price action, it's most likely going to range within the weekend and kind of continue to like consolidate around this period. And also, just remember, on Monday, stocks are closed due to Independence Day, so we will most likely see, even more volatility headed into, of course, Monday, with Tuesday being the time frame to really kind of look at in terms of like stocks. So I just want you guys to understand, and I want you guys to prepare for a volatile weekend ahead. But also, in regards to Hedera, we have been seeing some major updates around it. Obviously, we do see here from the blockchain media, they have been really kind of, starting a marketing campaign for Hbar. It's kind of interesting, but I actually like it. Remember, this is a 44.6K followed account. So they are definitely, a pretty big media company, which I love to see, especially pushing some solid, again, projects like Hbar, but we do see here all-around dominance by Hbar. Hedera is absolutely powerful, and we do see here in terms of like transactional volume per second and fees and speeds and even kilowatts an hour, yeah, we're absolutely outscaling Ethereum and Bitcoin. We're actually even outscaling Visa within, for an example, like kilowatts an hour, and also even TPS. Remember, in terms of sharding for Hedera, TPS could push us up to unlimited transactions per second. So I would say like Hbar definitely has a very, very big role to play going forward, and possibly is, the confirmed third generation crypto technology. And I just want to say like possibly confirmed, because again, anything is possible. But we also seen another post from the blockchain media, and the reason why I brought this up is because when we look at this, like 99% of blockchain projects are not trusted by respected organizations. Hbar is different. Hedera is trusted by the world's leading organizations. And of course, the reason why I bring this up and the reason why, I want to talk about this is because like when we really kind of look at the governing council for Hedera, a lot of people like think that like these names are just like kind of buzz names to get people to like invest into Hedera. But that is not the case. I've actually broken down a few of these use cases. For an example, I've broken down like Google just the other day. I've broken down like a speculative use case with FIS, for an example. Daily Piper is doing some pretty solid things. ServiceNow is doing digital workflows. FPOS is doing solid things in terms of like the transactional area. Honestly, a lot of these major names here are building out some solid use cases on Hedera. What I would love to see, and I've actually addressed my concerns around this, is I want to see transactional like mainnet use cases going live that are demanding high amounts of throughput TPS. Right now we're only doing, and I know that this is actually an embarrassment to what Hedera could actually do, we're only doing 3 transactions per second on the mainnet. That is laughable. And I really do look forward to the seeing the day where we are doing like thousands of transactions per second. It's going to take a little bit of time to get there, but I do believe that those days are definitely ahead of us. Now, also, we did see here from the Hbar Foundation, in this interview between the Hbar Bull Hashport Network and network validator HexTrust, we learn all about the future of interoperability and how it will expose the efficiencies of the Hedera network to the wider Web3 ecosystem. And yeah, I mean, in terms of what just launched from Hedera's perspective, basically we do see here, Wrapped Hbar has arrived. Hashport Network has deployed Wrapped Hbar issuer contracts on the Ethereum and Polygon networks, furthering interoperability. I've always said, these networks need interoperability in order for them to truly be adopted and utilized properly. I love Hashport. I think that it is a solid project, and they have been doing some pretty solid things. Also, Hashport does have direct connections to FIS. I've talked to you guys a little bit about it. But yeah, I think that this is great. I think that in terms of like interoperability and interconnectivity between a lot of these chains, I've said it time and time again. You will not see mass adoption, and you will not see, mass utilization of a network without cross-chain interoperability. Cross-chain interoperability is huge. So I love to see this, and again, it really kind of solidifies that Hedera is continuously building no matter what the market circumstances are. So you love to see that. Also, we did see from the Hbar Foundation yet another announcement of a partnership with Headstarter organization, an IDO launchpad and project accelerator for the Hedera ecosystem. So talking about growth and talking about expansions, we are seeing, this really kind of start up, not only an IDO, but this is going to grow the ecosystem. The launch of Headstarter allows participants in the Hedera ecosystem to support projects in their respective public token raises. Or support of, Headstarter will boost innovation and users in the Hedera ecosystem by providing support to developers and techpreneurs who are exploring Web3, DeFi, NFT, GameFi, and the metaverse, and are eager to deploy their dApps on Hedera. And in terms of like IDOs are great. Just so that everybody knows what an IDO is, this is an initial decentralized exchange offering. So basically, you are getting in on the ground floor level. Think about like almost investing into. I used Chrome just the other day as an example, but I'm going to utilize it yet again. So, for an example, a lot of these tokens, like this has a almost $6 million market cap, and it is only on decentralized exchanges. So these are like, IDO prices that you would expect in terms of like not only market cap value, but also like the price per token compared to like its total supply. You would get in on the ground floor level before it actually gets listed on centralized exchanges, being an early adopter of the project essentially, and being like an initial, investor into like a public token raise, if you will. So that's going to be pretty cool, and it allows for investors to get in on the ground floor levels on some new use cases. Obviously, you would always do your research and not like put too much into those projects because they are still early on and they are very early, in building. But also, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about going back to the initial, tweet here, all around dominance by, Hbar. Funny enough, like we go back to September of 2021, where we did see, Hedera Solidity smart contracts bringing highest speed programmability to tokenization. So you guys know me, I love tokenization. I've talked to you guys about the tokenized future many, many times. I think that we're very early within that area. I think that there's going to be like large flood of capital into like a tokenized, basically economy use case. So when we look at this, I've shared with you guys this time and time again, the possibilities of Hedera basically at scale. So we looked at Ethereum in just Q2 of 2021 at like the peak of like, major, volume in, crypto. They were doing about $2.5 trillion in transactions. Now I look at this and I really kind of see like, if Ethereum could be doing $2.5 trillion in a single quarter of a year, you look at like something like Hedera that could push, the potential even higher with scalability and also transactional cost. We could honestly probably settle easy, and I say easy, $5 trillion in one single quarter of a year. And if we're doing that, like that's like over $20 trillion settled in just one singular year. So that's pretty huge. But obviously, when we talk about things happening around this, it's going to take time. Remember, Ethereum was not a huge asset for a while until it did start to pick up some, traction. Remember, there was a lot of early problems with Ethereum. I mean, initially talking about this, right? Like here's 2015 for an example. We were trading at about $2. This did have some rough rides. It came down to like 50 cents. For the most part, it did pretty good in 2017 and 2018. As you guys do see, it kind of started to pick up some traction. Hit about $438. Came up all the way to about $1,400. Came down, crashed to roughly like, I know at some points in time it was like 90 some dollars. But then you do see, of course, this recent bull run where we did hit about almost $5,000. Ethereum, for the longest time, did not have massive potential until it really started to pick up some traction. I do believe that Hedera is the same exact way. I think that right now, initially, things might look, rough because there's not a large amount of use cases going live on Hedera. I mean, you do see this within the transactional demand. I think that as everybody is really kind of just saying like, hey, there's some great use cases going live on Hedera. Well, I want to see the transactional flows. Like, for an example, like ServiceNow, right? I want to see these digital workflows go live. We do see here ServiceNow and Hedera enable cross-organizational digital workflows. This goes back to November 16th, 2021. Remember, ServiceNow is an absolute giant in the space. I've said it multiple times. ServiceNow is most likely going to be one of the largest use cases within the Hedera ecosystem, not because of the use case itself, but because of the names behind ServiceNow. For an example, we look at the four main areas of digital workflows: process and data integrity, tokenization, decentralized identity, and multi-party business processes. These are huge, transactional demand areas that they are focused on, which I love to see. But the problem is the fact that, like, when are they going to be leveraging it? When is this use case going live? Because we don't really have a background on this. Remember, ServiceNow is definitely a giant. We've talked about ServiceNow many times on this channel. They are a leading name within the Fortune 500 scene. You can look through, their partnerships that they do have. I remember it was somewhere on here, but they're trusted by over 7,400 enterprise customers. And of course, some of these customers are names that, everyone really knows about. But the issue here is, like, when is the transactional, demand going to be here? Because we continuously see a lot of these use cases, coming to Hedera, and, they have a great promise, but it seems like these use cases are not just going live, or maybe they're not demanding transactions just yet. Either way, I would just love to see a little bit more transactional demand. I think that it is a little bit frustrating. But I will say this: although it is frustrating that the transactional demand is low, I do foresee that this will essentially pick up. I think that a lot of these projects have a rough start. Remember, Bitcoin was not always trading at, $19,000 and at its all-time high, $60,000. I think that a lot of people realize or fail to realize how early we actually still are into crypto. I mean, remember, like, initially on, like, 2009, I know that it was over, we're talking like years and years back, but when we look at where Bitcoin was, even going back as far as like 2013, you could really kind of see just like the exponential growth of the space. I mean, the space does grow fast, but it does take a little bit of time. And something as new as Hedera, and, with all of the use cases that are basically being built on Hedera, I do foresee a day where, Hedera is dominating this space. I think that we will essentially build to that. Remember, there's been a large amount of things really kind of launching around Hedera that could truly push it to new heights in terms of adoption. I actually go back to April 2022, just recently. Swiss Hashgraph Association launches the Hashgraph Innovation Program to accelerate adoption of the Hedera network worldwide. I just don't think that enough people and enough projects are actually building and working with Hedera just yet. I think that this will essentially continue to grow as we do see not only the Hedera Foundation working on mass adoption, but we're also seeing mass adoption through many use cases and, of course, like things like this. I think that this is great. And remember, even the ServiceNow use case itself is committed for, adoption of DLT. I think that in terms of like distributed ledger, technology, I still think that we're very early in on that area as well. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.